Controlled Chaos here. During the Interceptor update, they mentioned that there's a 4-part series being told. But my question is what are they going to introduce big gameplay mechanic wise with this whole entire story? The reason I say big gameplay mechanic wise is around this time, close to August, September, they like to do their big once a year update that adds a lot. I personally think it is going to be factions and faction wars. And here's the reason why. I'm going to explain out piece by piece. First, starting off with the Interceptor update. With the Interceptor update, we have a lot of cool stuff. We got crashed Sentinel ships. We got Sentinel multi-tools. But on top of that, we also got corrupted Sentinels and robotic body parts on the camps where you had the Sentinel multi-tools. With this happening, you noticed that the corrupted Sentinels were only on corrupted planets. Crashed Sentinel ships were only found on corrupted planets. This means that there's some kind of fight going back and forth between the corrupted Sentinels and the regular Sentinels. They're not getting along. And so that's the first clue right there. The second clue comes in with the Singularity expedition. And when we do that, once again, we're dealing more with the corrupted Sentinels. We're talking to Polo and Nada about building this beam that's all mechanical. And during that whole entire journey, you learn more about the Hive Mother and things like that. But on top of that, you're given a choice between a blue helm and a red helm. And that's really important in this whole entire thing. The reason being is if you go onto the anomaly, you will see in there, if you walk all the way up along the right side into the back area, just at the beginning, there's an area that's empty that has 2 flags, a blue flag and a red flag. There is no one in that area. There's nothing to interact with. With those being the same color that the helms are for the most part, that's where I think what's going on is with those helms, you're making a choice of you're on the blue side or you're on the red side. And so you're making your choice of factions based off of that. We don't have an exact idea of who the bad guy is, who the good guy is right now. That's probably later in the story, maybe in the third telling of it or the fourth part of it. We don't know. Now you may be asking, but Controlled Chaos, what about those people who did not play the Singularity Expedition when it was going? That is a good question, and I have, as a game designer, an idea how they can work around that. And that is, players who didn't make a choice are a mercenary faction. They can be hired out to either side and work for either side, or just not participate at all. Just like if someone chose the blue helm or someone chose the red helm, they may not want to participate in this faction war. Now, why am I thinking it's going to be a faction war? Emphasis on the war part, because if we look at the Interceptor update, we're finally able to fully destroy freighters. And this is a big step to being able to allow for that kind of thing. It allows us to destroy the freighters to take out whole entire fleets. So them testing that out with the Interceptor to make sure it works, this means that they can do that same technology with buildings. They can do the same technologies with a bunch of other stuffs, including maybe even space stations if you give it a big enough explosion to hide that quick disappearance of the ship, because if you rattle the camera enough and you put big enough explosion around it, as that explosion's going off and as that camera's rattling, it makes it hard for your eyes to notice when that ship disappears. It happens in the blink of an eye, and especially if they time it off right with a big bright explosion, then you're not going to notice it. That's the smart trick of a developer, to hide a ship disappearing. So that's why I think this is going to be a faction war thing. What are your thoughts? Where do you think this story is leading for the big update, considering that part 3 is probably going to be the major update for the whole entire thing, with the story and with the content we get? Comment down below. Let me know. Have a great day.